poker site gets dealt a helping hand today on Call for Help.
I hope these people can help me with my computer. Oh. A technician will be with you in 4 hours.
4 hours?
With an upgrade for just $5,000.
What?
The universal serial config board should be set to ID 6.
I need that in plain English. Help!
Leo Laporte at Call for Help. May I help you?
Fromage à la crème.
Oui, ciseaux.
Oh, très bien. Welcome to Call for Help. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. I'm Leo Laporte, and this is the show you've been waiting for your whole darn life. A show that finally makes sense of technology, not just computers, the internet, MP3s, PDAs, cell phones, digital home theater, the whole kit and caboodle. We talk about it in ways you can understand, ways you can use. If you watch a show every day, you will soon, within weeks, become a big brain. One of those smart people who understand this stuff. People come to and say, I don't understand it. And you go, well, I do. And you don't even have to mention us. You don't have to say what your secret weapon is. Just watch the show. That's all we ask. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce my icing-coated cohorts. From left to right, Amber MacArthur and Andy Walker.
Yum, yum.
What are you doing with that icing there?
I'm going to show you how double layer DVDs work with icing and chocolate cake.
Why do I keep thinking all these demos are thinly veiled excuses to buy stuff so you can eat?
They are.
They are.
Amber said, you know, could you stop doing demos? They're making me fat.
I know.
Oh, yeah, look how fat she is. What are you going to be working on?
Well, thankfully, one of the things I'm doing is free file about running, so because I can keep eating the chocolate cake.
Good. Is that your secret?
Yeah, I do. I've been running a lot, like not as much in the past few months, but it's a little bit chilly. But in the spring, I'm going to do a half marathon. So yeah, so that that should be kind of good.
That's what, 11, 12 miles?
Yeah, actually, it's 13 miles.
Holy
yeah, 13 miles. Exactly.
What are you going to do? You're going to run right behind her?
No, I'm going to actually run a 10K.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm going to do? Take a nap. You're going to be doing web workshop a little bit later on.
I'm also doing web workshop.
This is the our victim.
Yep, David Howard, and he runs a poker site for Canadians, and we're going to check it out and
he looks like he's
help
been playing lots of poker.
A lot of late night online poker for David, I think.
Great.
Yes.
Great. And this is good for David. A little bit later on. Yes, Mr. Mr. Walker.
Mr. Laporte.
Horseshack, yes.
Is that a bolo you're wearing around your neck?
Oh, you want to know, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally got one of these. This is it was not easy to get.
I know.
The Apple Store, you had to beg and plead, and
I
you finally
did.
got one in an Apple Store only because you could bat your eyes. I batted my eyes and they threw me out. So this is the iPod Shuffle, and I got it on eBay.
Oh, really?
Well, that's why you can't get them.
Yeah.
Because people went to the Apple Store day one, bought 40 of them, and they're selling them on eBay.
Oh my goodness!
So you pay. I paid a little premium, but not a horrible premium.
Wow.
But see, you pull this. Oh, you know what I've done? I've taped it so it won't fall off. This worries me because I'm hanging around my neck, and so I put a little piece of Scotch tape on here so it wouldn't. Oh, now I'm never going to be able to get into it.
Oh no.
I wouldn't. No, I just take it off here. I wouldn't so that the thing wouldn't fall off because you know me. I've already lost my iPod photo. So I thought, well, I'll buy an inexpensive iPod, and see, this comes off. And then you plug that right into your laptop. I got Scotch tape everywhere.
Nice.
And this is a gigabyte, about $150 US. And there's no display, so that is a disadvantage. And that's the whole idea of the Shuffle is that people listen to music randomly. They don't care what's playing. I'm one of those guys. I want to know what the song is. And I have enough songs I don't know what all of them are. I guess if you're a kid, you'd know everything that was on your hard drive, right?
Yeah, I think it would be a little. I don't think I would like it so much either, not being able to see all the different songs.
But, on the other hand, if you're one of those people who uses it like a radio where you just want to hear the next 50 songs, this holds 250.
It's great for running.
Yeah.
It's nice
Look,
and
it's light.
Yeah.
It's solid state. You could bang it. Nothing's going to go wrong with it.
I might get one.
Yeah,
you know what I did is I decided I put my spoken word on here. So this is not I don't use it for music. I use it for my books on tape, and because I listen to a lot
that's
of
a good idea.
books. So that's good. I just hang around my neck. Like
and then you won't lose it in the cab.
You know what's bad? If you got an iPod, don't wear the white headphones.
Oh yes.
Oh, no.
People getting mugged.
Yeah, they're getting mugged on subways and walking to work.
Because it's like, there's one down here.
Yeah.
I got an iPod on. Just, all you have to do is open my coat. So I'm going to wear black headphones with that.
That's a good idea.
Nobody will know. And also coming up in a little bit, our good friend Alex Lindsay, who's going to solve David's problem. Red eye removal tips. Oh, it's not that kind of red eye? Oh no, we're not talking about Visine. No, it's when you take a picture and you get you know, devil eyes. We'll get rid of the devil eyes. We'll show you how to do it.
Satan eyes.
Okay, let's get to our first call of the day.
All right, we have Jason on the webcam from New Westminster, British Columbia.
Hello, Jason.
Hey, everybody from Call for Help.
Hey, everybody from New Westminster. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great out here on the West Coast. Leo, how's everything going back east there?
Well, it's kind of, is this the east or more Midwest kind of the Middle Eastern, Western, east, middle, central? I don't. It's going very well wherever we
Central
are.
Coast, sounds good. So yeah, I got a couple of questions here.
Okay, ask away.
Well, what I'm trying to do with my computer here is I'm trying to run Windows ME, Windows XP, and Windows XP 64-bit all on the same computer.
But sir, you're an idiot.
Yeah, hence the phone call to you guys. I mean, you guys, you know it all. Please help me, please.
I'm just teasing you. I couldn't resist once I saw the T-shirt. Idiot. So, are you in an arcade, or do you have an arcade in your home?
Yeah, this is my office arcade / home work
This is
area,
awesome.
relaxation pit.
What is this? Is this pole position over here on your right there?
We got some World Rally over here and some Final Fight action.
Gee, you are serious. And then also, you want a computer with 3 versions of Windows on it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like too much, really.
No, actually, and that's totally doable. One of the things Windows does very well, as a matter of fact, it coexists with itself. What you'll do, first of all, is I recommend, it's not required, but it really is the best way to do it. Each version of Windows has its own partition.
Okay, that sounds nice. Yeah, I got a couple of hard drives in there. Shouldn't be much of a problem.
Or its own hard drive, that's fine. I mean, you can, in theory, each have its own folder, but boy, it's a mess. You don't want to do that. So each one has its own hard drive or its own partition on the same hard drive. So if you've got that set up, you'll need at least 3. Then the first thing to do is install Windows ME, because the 98s, 95s, MEs, they go first.
Okay, all right, I see. ME first, got it.
You actually go in the opposite order of age, right? The oldest first. Age before beauty, just remember that. And that's because if you think about it, XP knows about ME, but ME doesn't know about XP.
Not a clue.
Because it can't see into the future. So what we do is we install ME first, and that'll become your C drive. And what happens then is you install Windows XP. And XP says you already have, now this is where you have to be careful, because Windows XP will upgrade ME if you aren't careful. So you don't want to install it in the same partition. So when you're installing, you say, okay, install in a separate partition. And then XP will go, oh, I get it. You want a dual boot. And what it does is it puts into the C drive, it puts the NT loader and a boot.ini. It puts information about booting up. That's going to sit on the C drive with ME. So you have ME, you've got XP, and then you put in the Windows 64. You're using the beta of the Windows XP 64?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
X64 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, X64.
I burnt it onto a CD, so that's all ready to go.
It's free to download, by the way, right now for people who want to do it. Eventually, of course, they're going to charge for it, but for right now. Now, you have a 64-bit processor, I presume.
Yeah, I got a new computer in November. I got a 3500 plus AMD processor. It's nice and fast. It should do the trick.
Man, what are you making all this money on? Are you retired? Are you Microsoft?
I make it all in the quarters. I just, hey, come on over, bring some quarters, and we'll play a couple of games.
You are doing great. You have a life. I am so jealous. So anyway,
I'll tell you what, Leo, you come over to the West Coast, and we'll have you over for a couple of games here.
Party at Jason's house. So then you install X64. Now I have to say I haven't installed X64, so I'm assuming, and I have no reason to assume otherwise, that X64 will be just like XP in that respect. It'll say, where do you want me to be, and it's expecting you to be a dual boot. It doesn't want. It knows nobody's going to want to run X64 completely by itself because it's early beta. So so you install that on the third partition, and then when you boot, Windows will say what do you want to be? What do you want to be today? ME, XP, X64. You take your pick.
Right. Where do I want to go today?
Where
okay, 1, 2, or 3. All right. All right. That sounds pretty straightforward.
You remember that old slogan? Where do we want to go today? Wasn't that their old Microsoft slogan?
Yeah, I do. The money must have worked somehow. I remember it. I don't know. I'm pushing the start button every day. Rolling Stones. What do you know?
Quick, what's the Microsoft slogan now?
Your potential, our passion, or something?
I don't know.
Amber
I think I might have
knows
to ask
it.
Amber for
Sorry.
that.
You know why? Because she works for him. What is it?
Your potential, our passion.
Boy, that sticks in the mind, doesn't it?
Ooh,
Your
yeah.
potential,
That's
our
got, That's got a real
passion.
ring to it.
It's right up there with plop, plop, fizz, fizz.
Your potential,
They have all
our...
those illustrations.
I know. I remember
love
the ads
those,
where you're
yeah.
sitting, seeing a kid practice her bass, and then they draw in chalk the audience in the future ahead, or a person's
Exactly.
in a subway and it's a fashion show. I remember those, but I don't remember your potential, our
Sorry,
passion.
I've been brainwashed, I think.
You have.
I know.
Wow.
Maybe Amber came up with it. She's trying to make a couple
Oh,
extra
that's
bucks
probably
here.
Yeah.
it. That's she's doing it on the
He's
side.
not an idiot.
Hey, it's great to talk to you. You're not an idiot. You're a wise man. Does it say anything else on the back of your shirt, like not really, or?
If you can read the back of their shirt, you're too close. Something like that.
It doesn't say I'm with stupid, nothing like that, huh?
No, my girlfriend's got that one.
Hey, it's so good to talk to you, Jason. I really appreciate your calling in.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great show.
Enjoy your games there. My God, I'm jealous. Look at that. He's got an arcade in the house. Take care. Oh, look at, look at Oh, my friends, I'm so sad, but don't cry. We're going to take those bleary, weary, and tired red eyes and make them bing, sparkle like new. Alex Lindsay's here with some saline solution, a little Visine to help eliminate the red eye from your pictures. Virtual eye drops up next. We'll call for help. Continue to stay right here.
Don't be an idiot, 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 idiot.
Yeah, it's on Polk Street. Oh, I'll have to try that. Were you at a party recently and you were having so much fun, forgot all about those silly, spontaneous, candid photos your friend took of you eating the cake and dancing like a monkey on fire? I was at that party. It was a good day. Andy really was just... Well, nobody wants to look like a deer caught in the headlights when they peek at those pics the following day, with the big red eyes. So we're going to talk to our own pixel pusher, Alex Lindsay from Pixel Core, about how to remove the red eye from our shots. Now, a lot of programs have automatic red eye removal.
They do, and they work fairly
Okay.
well. They work okay. I mean, if you have Photoshop Elements, and I think
iPhoto does it.
Yeah.
Photoshop Album does it. Picasa
sometimes
does it.
it ends
All
up
of
a little.
these programs.
Sometimes it ends up just a little bit gray.
Right.
Because
Well, it
what
takes
they're
the color out of the eye.
What they're basically doing is they're grabbing the eye and they're just desaturating it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a little bit something like that, but with a little bit more control.
This is in Photoshop?
This is in Photoshop.
Okay.
And what we're going to do,
You could do this in Elements if you didn't use the automatic red eye reduction.
If you didn't use the automatic, the problem with Elements is you wouldn't have channels.
Oh,
which
and
is
that's
what
so
we're gonna
key
do.
to the whole thing.
Yeah, so it would be hard to do it. So this is a Photoshop trick, but it
Photoshop
also
only.
shows you how these different layers, these different channels interact with each other.
Okay.
So here we have a fellow with demon eyes, and it's a little scary.
Why does that happen?
What's actually going on is that is his retina, and so what happens is that when how when you throw a ball straight against the wall, it's going to come straight back to you. You look in a mirror, angle of incidence equals angle of reflection.
Right.
So what happens is that when the flash is too close to the lens that you're actually taking, the light goes in through your pupil. And it lights up your retina,
Right.
and it bounces straight, it reflects off the retina and bounces straight back at the camera.
So if the flash were higher, it would bounce lower, and then it wouldn't get in the camera.
And you'll notice that a professional will oftentimes have a flash that is significantly...
They never get red eye.
They don't get red eye because it's just enough. In fact, I have a harder time. I was trying to build the perfect sample of this.
He was trying to take red eye pictures.
There's people all over the. I was in there. Here, look at this.
Oh!
And trying to get it. And I actually have a hard time because my flash is
high enough.
far enough away from the lens that it's harder to do than a like your little point and shoot.
Where the flash is right there.
Right there, there's a better chance of reflection. Now, so the one way to avoid this, of course, is some people will have a reflector that'll bounce everything off of the ceiling, or you just increase. The more you increase the distance between the flash and the lens, the less chance you're going to have.
It's worse at night because their eyes are wide open, their pupils are wide open. In fact, that's why the red eye reduction flashes a couple of times times
Right.
to get your pupils to
You see
dilate.
that little strobe that goes on.
I go, oh, and then they take the picture.
Right. Of course, then you don't have red eye because everyone's going like this. So
So you didn't work here.
All right.
You got a little red eye. So we just color it in with a crayon, right?
right, yeah, exactly.
Just a little brown.
And here's the problem with that is that you can, and that's what some people will do is they'll go in here and they'll well, that won't work, will it?
Green eye.
Green eye. He's got green eye. But you can color it in, but there was a reflection there, there was a highlight there, and what we actually want is to keep all of that information.
That's kind of how the automatic red eye reduction ends up looking. Like
It looks a little
you colored
dulled,
it in.
and so what we're going to do is we're going to create a copy of the channel.
Okay. We always do that. First thing you do, you create a copy, new layer.
Okay, so we're going to create a copy, and we're going to click on here, and this is just the channels.
That's
so
the
this
red,
is,
green, and blue.
Yeah. So you have the red, and you can see all of the information's there.
Yeah.
Green looks fine.
It was almost all red.
Blue looks a little grainy. Your blue channel tends to be really, really grainy on digital images, so you probably want to ignore the blue channel. But the green channel, if that was just over here,
You'd be good.
We'd be good to go. So what we're going to do is I'm simply going to select the green and hit Command A, Control A on the PC.
Control A.
And then
That selects all.
selects all, and then I'm going to do Command or Control C, and that's
That
going to
copies
copy.
it. Okay.
And then I'm going to select the red channel.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to hit Command or Control V.
But now we won't have any red in the picture at all.
I know. We'll go back.
Oh, you knew that.
I suspected that would be a problem.
All right.
So now he looks a little green. He's looking a little, he's lacking a little.
Is this all
color.
channels mixed together? Yeah.
These are all the
That's 'cause
channels
the red's
mixed back
gone
together.
now.
So
Yeah.
here's what we had before.
Yeah.
So now we have the eyes set
The eyes
up.
look okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So what we want to do is just isolate that. So what we can do is we can go in here and with this layer selected, right here.
This is the green.
I'm gonna deselect, just Command D, just to make sure I'm not selecting anything.
Okay.
And I'm just going to click this little button down here. And what this button does, this is Add Layer Mask. So now I've added a new layer mask that right now is showing everything. If I invert that, if I just select this and hit Command I, so now it's gone. So this is basically saying everything's transparent. When this is black over here, everything's transparent.
Got it.
All I got to do is paint it in. So I'm just going to simply.
Now you can color.
Oops. Now I'm going to use the white, and I'm actually painting on the mask. And so as I paint on the mask, it just paints the green channel into
Oh, look at that.
where his eyes were.
Now, what if, do you get the actual color of his eyes? Or
It might change the color of his eyes just a little bit, but you can also go in
but
here.
nobody has red eyes. So you're
Exactly.
losing a little red isn't going to. But if they had brown eyes or hazel,
It might change them just a little bit,
Yeah.
but you can always go back and do a little color correction to that as well. So you could still play with
look
it.
at that. I mean,
but
what's
you're now-
neat is you're keeping the reflection of the pupil. It's a natural looking eye,
Right.
which is what you don't get with the automatic red eye correction.
Exactly, and I have this set up as an action, so literally I can just select it and hit. If
You made your own.
because all of this, you don't want to do all these steps.
That's all automatic.
What you want to do is you want to select this and let's go up into my actions, and I have a Tech TV folder in here, and I can go red eye, play.
Oh, that was it.
Now what it did
You record.
is
You
it
took
is it
that.
set it up, and now all I have to do is paint it in. So all of those steps.
So from now on, all you do is play back those 4 steps or 5 steps, and then you paint it.
And
in
now
the
I
eyes.
just paint it in. So now you can just boom.
I like that.
Lots of fun.
That's actually that's a better way to do it. And when you have the action, it's just as fast as anything else. It's
Exactly.
automatic. Red eye reduction. We have all the steps, of course, on our website, callforhelptv.com. And we all know that Alex.
Very good.
Oh, they love that. Golf clap for Alex. Alex works at pixelcore.com. It's a guild of 3D and 2D designers. If you are interested in learning stuff like this and movies and everything, go to pixelcore.com. It is great. Our website, callforhelptv.com, has the step-by-step for this particular one. And now, my pretty, please turn your attention to our tantalizing tech quiz. What is Steve Jobs' annual salary? Man, the guy saved Apple. He created the iPod. He really turned it around. He must make a lot of money. Is it $1 million? $1? $13.5 million? Or Steve who? Go to the website, give us the answer. We'll talk about it. Call for Help continues.
Welcome back back to Call for Help. Time for a quick tip of the day. If you're switching from Internet Explorer to Mozilla Firefox and want some help with terminology, go to the Help menu in Firefox, click for Internet Explorer users, and then there's this handy chart to help you with the terminology differences. Internet options is options, favorites is bookmarks, and there's a few others as well that should help you out as you make the switch. Now we have another caller. We have Trevor on the webcam from Hervey Bay, Queensland.
Hey, Trevor, how are you?
Oh, cool. How are you from down under?
I'm very well. Now, is it Hervey Bay? How do you say that?
It's actually Harvey Bay. I think
we got a typo.
Jimmy Stewart was here with his big white rabbit at one stage.
Harvey Bay. I remember that.
Yes.
I think we have you on Netcam, do we not?
We certainly do.
Oh, you're down under. Oh.
Well, I'm down under.
I always wondered, now, do the toilets swirl backwards too?
They certainly do. I'm actually talking to you from tomorrow.
that's actually not a joke. You really are, I know.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, first thing in the morning tomorrow, no doubt.
Yes, it's an early morning.
Well, I appreciate your getting up and joining us. Do you know that you're upside down?
No, I thought you were.
Bravo, Trevor. Touche. What can I do for you today?
The question I've got is about, we produce multimedia, and it's taken me years to get a workflow happening with utilities and programs, then gradually you install them, then you upgrade them, then you put on a service pack, and then you put on a patch and all sorts of things.
You got it just so now.
Sorry?
You got it just so now.
Yeah, and it's, but the problem is the CPU is only about a gig, so I'd like to upgrade, and people have told me that Windows doesn't like it if you try and transfer all your files and settings to a new machine, so I thought I'd ask you.
That's actually a tough thing to do. You want to take basically the hard drive out of your existing machine that's all set up just right and plug it into a new XP machine.
Yeah, either that or a new XP machine with XP already loaded and just bring everything across, migrate the whole lot.
Yeah,
that would
that's a preferable way to do it. Now here's where the issue is, and you can decide what you want to do. The problem really comes down to drivers. And there are several issues. There's one of the driver issues is the hard drive driver, and that's fairly critical. In fact, it's not unusual if you take a hard drive out of one machine and you put it in a new XP machine, because there's a mismatch in the chipset and probably in the IDE controller, you get a blue screen. You can't boot it at all.
Yeah.
That's one problem. There's also issues with XP in general. NT's always had this problem with drive letters being different. Intel, I have an Intel site here. He says, this is moving a hard drive to a new motherboard is not recommended without reinstalling the operating system. And they specifically point to the issues of chipset and mass storage hardware controller. But I have found an article for you that describes moving a hard drive with XP installed. And I think if you read this article, you would probably say, I'm not going to chance it. What they recommend you do, first of all, is, and I do recommend this, and I've done this, and it generally can work, is go into your existing install and remove all the devices from the device manager. You want to, particularly, you want to change your hard drive driver to the generic dual IDE controller. Okay. Yeah. That way you won't have a bad hard drive driver on this new system, one that's incompatible with the new system. And then they suggest you move the hard drive over, being very careful to maintain the order and the cabling, because you don't want drive letters to shift. That will make sure you can't boot. And then they recommend you run the repair install of XP on top of it. And the idea being that the repair install will look, say, oh, there's missing drivers. It will look at your hardware, your new motherboard and so forth, and will install those.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Now, well, will this work? I don't know.
What about that thing in XP that says, import your files and settings or whatever?
Right.
Does that work?
The file and settings transfer wizard. No.
Yeah.
Not very well. But there is a program that works that I'm going to recommend. I think this is the safest thing. Buy a PC with XP installed and working. Then you've got all the drivers and everything right? But you want to move over your workflow. You want to move over your applications, any data files you've created, any scripts and so forth. That you can do. And the registry, And the registry. That you can do with something called Aloha Bob's PC Relocator. And we've talked about this before on the show. It is a very useful little program. If you go to PCRelocator.com or AlohaBob.com, you'll find this program. It's not very expensive, and what it does is it actually does exactly what you want, and it knows about versions, so it doesn't copy incorrectly drivers that aren't supposed to be there, parts of Windows that aren't supposed to be there. And it will move almost all your programs, all your preferences, all your settings, all your data. So it's and I found it to be very reliable, not very expensive either.
Oh, that's good. I'll give that a go.
Yeah. You can buy that online.
Will that be up on the website somewhere?
I will, but just remember AlohaBob.com.
Aloha Bob.
You can't go wrong with that.
All right, fine.
Hey, we fixed you. Actually, I don't know if this is fixed, but we've got you right side up.
Oh, no.
No, he's going to turn his camera upside down.
I've got another question, too. Just a quick one.
Yeah.
I've heard you say that if you watch this show for 6 weeks,
yes.
You'll be the person in the office that everybody looks to and things like that.
Yes.
And I do believe that. We used to watch it before on Tech TV,
right.
And exactly that happened. Is it possible to put up some sort of a qualification for that, like an attendance record that you've watched the 30 shows?
I think I need a bunch of gold stars I could put on your forehead, and every time you watch, we'll put another one on there. And
yeah, but just
that's
some
a good
sort
idea.
of thing like that, because I think that's probably a more relevant qualification than 5 years at university.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but that's a great idea. We have a little diploma or something.
Yeah.
At the end of your name, you could put Leo Laporte, CFH.
CFH. That's right.
For helper.
Trevor,
a certificate.
Yeah. You know what, Trevor? That's a wonderful idea. I'm going to go to our web folks and see if we can draw something up, and we'll have a signature on it and everything. And yes, you certified. You have watched the requisite 6 weeks. You are now an official CFH.
Yes.
I like it. That's great.
Okay.
Trevor, great to talk to you. I'm so glad you're watching.
All right, good. And greetings from down under.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. It's we got him right side up, but I think that's actually upside down. Anyway, coming up in just a bit, Amber is here. She is our web maven. She knows more about what makes websites work and not work, and she's going to give a poker site a helping hand in just a bit with our web workshop. Stay right here. See? I didn't make that up. Welcome back to Call for Help. Leo Laporte here. Building a website is never as easy as it seems. Well, there's the programming, the design, the content, and we can't forget about all the time it takes to update, manage the site once it's live. That's why, thankfully, a few of you can get a little help from our in-house expert. Amber's here to help another Call for Help viewer, a poker professional, with his website. Now, is he a player himself? Is that the idea?
Yes, he's a player. He plays online poker. He said he plays up to 20 hours a week of online poker.
Okay.
Yeah, and he goes by the nickname Ducky. So
Ducky.
maybe we'll just call him Ducky.
If you've ever lost a hand to Ducky, that's who got
him.
your money.
So he's actually been running the site for quite a few years, and what it is, it's an online resource for anyone in Canada who wants to play poker and wants to know where there's poker matches and online poker events happening. And
so
those
he doesn't
types
have
of things.
poker himself, but he's kind of supporting.
Exactly. What it is basically an online resource for people to come and understand where they can go if they're a bit into poker and they live in Canada.
PokerA.com.
Poker A. I know.
I like
so you thumbs up for the name. Actually, first off, PokerA.com. So it's a great
poker.
It's a great name. And actually, there are a few people who send in websites that I find that they actually do a lot of things right. So I just want to commend him on doing a few things right, and then I'll help him a little bit. So he's done a great job on the logo here, as you can see. PokerA.com. It's at the top of the page. It's also linkable. So if you click on it, it goes to the home page, which is really important. It
says the Canadian Poker
Exactly.
website.
It tells exactly what it is, and then it has a little welcome message, which is great, and then has some information to contact the owners of the poker site, which is Ducky himself.
So I think that's very good.
Yeah, so it's a good start, really, really good start.
Clean layout?
The clean layout. The second thing he was asking us about was actually about navigation, to see if his navigation was good. And he's done a good job on the left-hand side to actually outline all the different pages on the website, and they all have headings, which is really good. As you can see here, here, this is where poker tournaments are happening in Ontario, Quebec, online in BC, Alberta, and all the different provinces and territories.
That might be one where he could, with some CSS, make a pop-up menu or an expandable menu to kind of collapse that a little bit.
Yeah, he could collapse that a little bit for sure, just to compress it a little bit. But it's good that he's actually outlined it and he understands categorization. So that's one thing we were going to talk about a little bit, is just categorization and understanding with your website. As much as you need a nice design template and the page should look good and good content, you should think a lot about how the pages are actually categorized and how the navigation is done. So I brought in another favorite book. It's not Jacob Nielsen, which is my regular book, but this is Web Navigation, Designing the User Experience.
Another great O'Reilly book.
Yes,
I tell you, they do good
I know,
stuff.
they do lots of good stuff. I've had this book for quite a few years. It's by Jennifer Fleming, and in it talks a lot about designing a site map. So we'll show here, it's a little bit difficult to see, but you can see the top level, this is a site map. So what the person has done is basically started with the home page, and then they have all these different categories underneath, which would be like sub-pages within the different sections. Yeah. And they call this a shallow site structure. And then if you look below it, we actually have a deep site structure, so it goes way deeper on the second part of this.
So shallow means fewer clicks to get somewhere.
Fewer
deep
clicks.
means more clicks to
more clicks. And you know, generally speaking on the web, unless you have a huge site like CNN or something like that, the more shallow the site, the better, because the easier it is to get down to different parts of the site.
It's easier to categorize a site if it's deep, because you can have go here, go here, go here. But the user has to click, 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 click.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the problem a lot of people don't think about. They think, well, if I categorize it, it's really deep and there's a lot of links down the site, well, then people will be able to get there. But the thing is, they don't see that. They're not seeing all the different levels of navigation. So I think he's done a really good job with keeping it relatively shallow by having all these links you can see here on the left-hand side of the website.
I agree. I really prefer shallow.
I do too. Yeah. And you know, he has 100 pages in his website, so as you can see down here. Yeah, but he's done a good job of having the headings and all the different subcategories.
Again, I think a little CSS could help here. This is the cascading style sheets that allows you to do things like a menu that opens up, like a computer application.
Exactly.
And then you could see all of the headings. Yeah. You could select one or hover over one, and it would open up.
And then it would open up. And another option he could actually have as well is if we look back at the home page, if he were to do navigation on the top part of the website, so right up here, he could do that as well to kind of compress what's on the left-hand side. Right. So basically, he could have links up there. The one piece of feedback I do have on the navigation, and I've mocked this up quickly, is that as you can see here, as we slowly go down to the bottom of the website,
long page.
It's such a long page, so when someone gets to the bottom of the page, he's lost all of his navigation. So just quickly, I mocked up a new page for him. So all he has to do basically is take the navigation that he has on the left-hand side of his website, the main content categories, and then just basically duplicate it.
Reiterate it at the bottom.
On the bottom. I mean, it's such a simple thing to do, but a lot of people forget to do that. You know, basically think about wherever you are on the website, you should have all the links for them to get, you know, as we can see here, you can get home, about us, contact us, so people don't get frustrated and leave the site. So that's just something that would help him out a little bit on this. So, you know, basically he's done a really good job. You know, a lot of people write me and they need a lot of help. Some people don't need as much help, and some of them can be used as good samples, and I think PokerA.com is a pretty good sample. So good job, Ducky.
He may be spending 20 hours a week doing poker, but he must be spending the other 20 doing his site.
Exactly, and he's done a good job.
He works for a living. Maybe he makes money.
He's in school, I think.
Oh,
yeah, he's in school.
You know, that's a big epidemic right now. Is people are playing online poker in college.
I bet.
And when my day it was, you know, gin or bridge, but now it's poker. Yeah.
Now they're sitting at home. Yep.
If you want your website reviewed, email Amber.
Yeah, Amber at callforhelptv.com.
And before you lay down the chips, by the way, just a word of warning, you got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to walk away.
Know when to run. You never count your money.
Before. I know. Yes! You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You know what I'm saying here.
I understand you, yes.
You're going to want the proper attire here for the next segment, so get your thinking cap on and screw it down tight and ponder our daily quiz question. What actually is Steve Jobs' annual salary, the man who saved Apple? I think it should be $1 million. Or maybe even more. Is it $1, $1 million, 13.5? Steve who? Go to the website, give us the answer. We'll talk about it when Call for Help continues. Welcome back to Call for Help. Before the break, we asked you what Steve Jobs, the CEO of Apple Computer, makes. And you'd think the guy who saved the company would make a lot of money, but in fact, his pay is $1 a year. $1 a year. Now, that kind of leaves out the billions in stock options, the $100 million jet, the other side benefits. The perks are very good, but his salary is $1 a year, which I think is kind of a neat thing. He said that when he left Pixar, or actually never left, but when he went from Pixar to run Apple. Hey, I got a knock-knock joke for you, Amber. Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Abbott.
Abbott who?
It's about time you told me who the next caller is.
All right, we have Luciano from Sydney, New South Wales.
I'm so embarrassed, Luciano. Hi, Luciano. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Leo. How's it going?
It's going very well. I'm glad you're watching, and I hope you're telling everybody in New South Wales to watch the show.
Oh, yeah. Great show. Good
Thank
show.
you.
It's good to have you guys back, actually.
It's really great. We're thrilled to be back. So what can I do for you?
Well, I've got a NVIDIA GeForce FX 5600 video card.
Okay.
And it's kind of like playing up. It doesn't render 3D graphics properly.
Oh.
So I was sort of like wondering maybe you guys might have sort of like an idea of maybe some tweaks or something I could probably do from my end to see if I can sort of like maybe get it to work.
Can you describe what issues are coming up?
It's basically, for instance, if you've got a character, a graphic, it looks like the skin is peeled off the graphic rather than actually going around the graphic. It's off the graphic.
Oh, interesting.
And so...
So it's still there, but it's just not in the right place?
Sorry, Lee?
It's still there, but it's just not in the right place, the skin?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like there's distortions on the screen, and it's just lines going all over the place and weird graphics.
No, I mean there could be a lot of reasons for this. By the way, it could even be overheating, especially these higher speed cards of the last couple. This is what, about a year old?
Yeah.
Yeah, they tend to get hot. So I would check and make sure your fan if there's a fan on the card that it's working, and if not that there's a clear airflow through there so the heat sink's getting some good. Because believe it or not, just as anything else in the computer can be affected by overheating, the card can. Let me show you a really useful program that comes with all Windows machines. It comes with DirectX. It's the DirectX Diagnostics. So what you do is you click Start, select Run, and you enter DXDIAG. DXDiag. Have you tried this before?
Yeah.
Oh, you know all about it.
Yep.
All right. And how do your diagnostics look? Have you gone through them all?
Yep, they're fine. They all pass.
They all pass. So when you do the DirectX test, everything's fine?
Yeah.
Well, that's disturbing. Because all right, well, that means DirectX is okay, and that's of course very important for getting the image to look right. Are you using by any chance AGP texturing? Did you turn that on in the card?
Yeah.
Ah. Well, now remember that skin is an AGP texture. And if the skin is in the wrong place, it could be there's a timing issue. What AGP texturing does is allows you to use larger textures in a game by storing them in RAM instead of on the VRAM, the video RAM that's on the card. Well, now that could cause a problem. And I have to say, most games do not yet have textures that big. They realize most people are going to turn on it. So I would I would turn off the AGP texturing.
Okay.
See if that helps. That could definitely be a problem. And then, of course, the general advice anytime you're having video problems is take a look at a different driver. Now, you can go to NVIDIA and get their reference driver. You could go to the card's manufacturer and get that driver. But I would try all of them. Now, in most cases, they will have both a WHQL Windows certified driver, and they'll also have a newer one that is not yet certified. I would try all of those till you find one. Have you done all that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You've done it all, dude. Well, the two things I would look at is turning off texturing, and then heat could really be an issue.
Yeah.
Overheating video cards. And I guess it could have worn out, but I tell you, that's unusual. On solid state electronics, it either works or it doesn't. If it doesn't fail in the first 3 months, it usually never fails because there's no moving parts.
I know. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, it's puzzling. That's everything I would try. Can you think of anything, Andy, that he should try? I mean, he's done the DX Diagnostics. It's great. I would say AGP texturing sounds like something that could be an issue, so I would turn that off. I would make sure your thing is getting good cooling, and then try different drivers.
Yeah.
What else? And what else?
Make sure the card is just plugged in.
Oh yeah, make sure the card's in well. It's not falling out. That, usually it'll work or not. But yeah, well, those are the best things. And if none of that works, then what I would try is take that card out of your machine, borrow a buddy's machine and put it in there and see if it works okay in there.
That was going to be my next step.
Yeah, because that'll tell you if it's the card or your software. Andy, do you have any
Just
other
one
thoughts?
final thought is sometimes the AGP texturing is actually a function of the BIOS. So I'm just wondering if there's a BIOS problem.
You go into the BIOS and turn it off.
Turn
Yes.
it off, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. That's
Or update the BIOS. Or...
Yeah, or maybe in a BIOS update, yeah. But I would turn it off. I don't think you need it. I think AGP texturing was somebody's good idea at one time. It will be gone now with PCI Express. You don't need it.
Okay.
So I have a feeling, and I don't think any game, as far as to my knowledge, I don't think any games are using, because in order to use, now with 128 megabyte video cards or 64 megabyte video cards, you're going to use the video RAM. That's a much better place to put those textures than to move them into system RAM. So
Exactly.
I think that could be a big part of it. Hey, Luciano, I'm so glad you watch. I hope that's helpful to you.
Thanks, Leo. Thank you very much.
Send me an email.
Thank you, guys.
Let me know.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. And let me know when you find out. Because I want to add that to my mental database of things to if you figure out what's wrong.
Will do.
Thank you, Luciano.
Thanks,
It's good to
Leo.
talk to
See ya.
you. Hey, I know fitness, as you can probably tell, is a high priority for me. I'm Mr. Workout. But sometimes people like Amber have a hard time keeping up with their fitness goals. And I'm sympathetic. Maybe some software could help.
Thank you, Leo. You're very helpful.
You know my fitness goals? Take long naps.
All right.
Do they have anything in there for naps?
No, they don't. But or you could log your nap time maybe.
Oh, good. Okay.
But
I'm training for a nap marathon.
Exactly. I actually have Mikey to thank for this. This program is called iRun, and it's a Mac free file. And what it does is allow you to track all of your runs if you're training for a marathon or something. My roommate and
What
I.
you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing a half marathon. I did a marathon last year, and
Did you really?
I think maybe a half is what I'll try this year.
impressed.
So it's really easy to use, and it's a really awesome little program. So all you do in iRun is you go to New, and then you can add in a run. Click New Run. So this is what you would do when you would come home from your run. If you did a long run, let's say you were in Toronto, and if you ran, I don't know, let's say 15 kilometers, then you put in your time, which might be, I don't know, an hour and 30 minutes approximately. And then you can put in the date of your run, and then you can put a little note about your run. You know, my run was great, ate too much beforehand or something like that. So that allows you to just keep a log of some of your runs and some comments. And you click OK, and then that run is actually entered into your database of runs. So what it does as well is, I'll just close this up here, but what it does is it also calculates the distance that you've run in so many days and the average pace that you've run.
Things you need to know if you're
Things
training.
you need to know if you're training. So it's a great, easy way to do it. I've used Excel before, but this program, actually, I'm going to start using this a lot because it's a lot easier just to enter it and does all the automatic calculations.
It's called iRun.
Yep.
It's our free file of the day.
Yeah, and we'll have a link to it on callforhelptv.com.
And send Amber your suggestions.
Yes, definitely. Amber at callforhelptv.com.
Mikey and I are working on a new program. We're going to have that as our free file of the day next week. It'll be I Do Not Run. Coming up, you've heard of a DVD. So what the heck is a dual layer DVD? Andy will use common household implements to demonstrate when we come back. Stay here.
Kindly walk, do not run to the nearest exit.
$13 Well, we got rid of the floppy disk, and now even the CD is starting to look a little long in the tooth. The next thing on the tech horizon, not just DVD, but something called dual layer DVD, and then of course HD DVD is just around the corner. What is dual layer DVD? Well, Andy's been in the kitchen and he's cooked up a little demo for us. What do you got here?
I got cake.
Yay!
I got cake. Okay, so we've all seen a DVD, right?
DVD.
There's
4.7 gigabytes.
That's right, 4.7 gigabytes. Well, you know what? 4.7 gigabytes is not enough.
Well, not if you're going to put commercial movies on there. They're
That's
usually
right.
dual layer themselves, and that
actually,
means
yes,
they're 8 or 9 gigabytes.
There's something called DVD9, which is actually, this is a mash, and there's already 2 layers on this. Let me show you how the 2 layers happen.
Okay.
It's very kind of exciting. I baked a cake for you, Leo.
Aww.
And so you imagine, it's just a circle, it's a DVD,
Yeah.
and here is your storage medium.
Okay.
Right?
This is where the
data goes.
Data is going to be recorded onto that.
Right. So we're just going to put that
is
there.
this the data here?
Yeah, and you pull out the data, which is actually our chips.
Okay.
So on one layer, what happens is when we store the data on a dual layer DVD, on the bottom layer, we start on the outside, and we go and we put it all the way into the center. So we start outside.
There you go.
Circle around.
And we got lots of data. And that's it.
And that's
a single layer DVD.
It's a single layer DVD. And
but
of course,
you run out of room, of course.
We're going to put a polycarbonate layer on top of it, you know,
Right.
and off we go. But in the case of a dual layer, there's actually
a whole lot more data in my bag.
There's a transparent layer. Which, of course, this is not transparent, unfortunately, and I couldn't really come up with a transparent cake. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to use your imagination.
Okay. Imagine this layer is completely clear.
All right. And all of a sudden, you have another recordable
New medium. This will be the reflective. But that's not transparent, right?
This is there's a reflective layer that's semi-transparent.
Semi-transparent, depending on the angle of the laser beam.
And I'll tell you why that is in a minute. Can you open that for me, please?
Yeah, you need more?
I need more.
More! We need more icing! Get more icing! Duncan Hines, fromage à la crème.
Okay, so there you go. So here's our second one.
Can I put some data on that layer?
Put some data on that. No, wait. You want to start on the top layer, you want to start on the center and come all the way out.
Oh, really? You don't go you don't start on the outside? Oh,
because
that's interesting.
You don't want to have, when the head is moving, you don't want it to actually have to shift
go all the way,
out and reset.
Right.
On this next
In fact, that's what happens on commercial DVDs. There is a slight pause. You may notice about halfway through the movie frequently as you shift the laser from one layer to the other. But it would be longer if they had to move all the way to the outside.
That's right.
All right.
So then finally there's a layer on top.
Do we put more in there? No, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
We're done.
Now what we're going to do is we'll cut it in half.
You know, that's probably not the best thing to cut it in half.
I know. Okay, but you get half.
We're a low budget show. We can't afford a knife.
So as you can see, so you have a data here and you have data here. Now what happens is you have the head that moves along and it focuses on the top layer.
Yeah.
And then
when it comes to the end of that,
it refocuses slightly and goes through the semi-transparent layer in the middle and actually looks at the data
so it can
on the
see
bottom.
through it. I'll be darned. Look at that.
Look at that.
And that's how you do it.
That's right, guys.
For more info on dual layer DVDs, that's delicious. That's fabulous. Check out our show notes at callforhelptv.com. And if you'd like to know how a particular technology works, and you'd like to see Andy bake some more, I know I would, send him an email. What's your email address?
callforhelptv.com.
Hello, folks. We're going to give you how you right after this. What movie are we in?
Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy and I feel like loving you.
Oh, I think I'm going into chocolate shock here. Whew. Is that like a Joe Louis, a world's largest Joe Louis?
Yeah, I think so.
Or a ho-ho, as we know them in the States. A ring-ding.
That was
no,
good.
I've had enough. Thanks.
No, I'm
Your
okay,
turn.
thank you.
If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, we now have we have a daily newsletter that we send out via email. It's got the show notes, everything we talked about here. And of course, you can find out what's coming up on shows, so you can avoid things like happened just a few minutes ago. Go to the website, callforhelptv.com, and fill out the form. Put your email address in there. No salesman will call, no cost to you. I promise you we're not going to sell your address anywhere else. We keep it very private. We got to read our privacy policy. And you'll be getting our newsletter. And by the way, while you're there, do fill out that form where it says ask a question, because we'd love to get you on this show. No matter where you're watching this show. I don't care if it's Canada, New South Wales, Abu Dhabi. We want to hear from you, all right? Callforhelptv.com. Well, what do you got there?
We have little presents for you guys, actually, I did a web workshop for Against the Grain Wood Creations.
I remember that,
yeah. And Mike sent us each little gift, so there you go.
These are hand-carved?
Yeah, hand-carved for each of us.
Is this a Christmas ornament?
Yeah, look at, they're beautiful.
Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
Oh, wow. You have the American Eagle and we have the Canadian flag.
Hey, look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Thank you. It's from Mike?
Yeah.
And what is his
Against the Grain Wood Creations.
I think that's gorgeous. Hey, thanks for joining us. Remember, if you've got a problem with your personal confuser, don't whine.
Don't moan.
Now let's all get drunk.